Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. From the new Wee Street Ice Center, the Tulsa area's premier entertainment and dining complex, featuring one of the area's largest sports bars, Pucks. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Let's take a look at the lineup for this week's show. Matt Pinto, longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, is here for not one but two segments. Talk about this incredible record season for the Thunder and what's ahead for this young team. The St. Francis Tulsa Tough cycling event coming to Tulsa June the 7th through the 9th, and Malcolm McCollam, he is their executive director and founder, here to talk about the big races. Bob Baffert, a Hall of Fame thoroughbred trainer, talks about another Hall of Fame trainer, Lukas, much of the news as he won the Preakness at age 88. And Dale Day has a Remington race report to preview their big night of champions. But first, let's begin with our Tulsa World Hot Topics. Mark it down, Thursday, May 23rd, 2024, the end of college amateur athletics as the NCAA signed its own death warrant, agreeing to a $2.8 billion settlement to resolve antitrust lawsuits. Under these proposed terms, the NCAA will pay $2.77 billion over 10 years to more than 14,000 current and former college athletes dating back to 2016, the ones who were denied opportunities to earn money from the now NIL. The NCAA and the 5 super conferences also agreed to establish a revenue sharing system, allow college athletic programs to spend about $21 million a year on the over 300 athletes. Over the 10 years, expected to cost the 69 schools of the super conferences, plus Notre Dame, about $300 million each. And obviously that includes Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So what's next? Likely scholarships will become contracts, athletes will unionize, and college football may end up with one super conference. The Indianapolis 500, the greatest spectacle in racing, 108th 500, won by Joseph Newgarden. He became the first driver in 22 years to win back-to-back 500s. He's now the 11th two-time winner. The great race, and team owner Roger Penske won his record 20th victory as an owner. Field is now set for the 2024 NCAA College Softball World Series in Oklahoma City. Play started this Thursday. Here's the schedule for the final 8 with the championship game on June the 6th. Of course, it all begins for OU and OSU. OU starts at 1:30 on Thursday against number 10 seeded Duke on ESPN. And then on Thursday at 8:30 p.m., the final game of the first day, it's number 5 seed Oklahoma State taking on number 4 seed Florida. That game on ESPN2. Last week, the Phillips 66 Big 12 Basketball Championship Tournament ended in Bedlam with number 2 Oklahoma State dominating top-ranked and regular season champion Oklahoma, beating the Sooners 9-3. Gave the Cowboys their first Big 12 tournament trophy since 2019. Now, both teams will host NCAA regionals. OU 37-19, number 9 national seed, making their 40th NCAA tournament appearance, its third straight. They open in Norman, Friday, hosting in-state rival Oral Roberts University, some of the tournament champions. Stillwater region opens this Friday, featuring the number 11 national seed Cowboys, 40-17, making their 39th regional, 4th most all-time. OSU hosts Niagara, they're 38-15. And number 5 national seed Arkansas hosts their own regional in Fayetteville, opening at Southeast Missouri State. 16 4-team regionals are May 31st through June 3rd. Then the 16 winning teams go on to the Super Regionals, June 7th through 10th, before the top 8 teams make it to Omaha for the College Baseball World Series, June the 14th through the 24th. And for the 22nd time, Oral Roberts University won the Summit League Baseball Championship, an 11-4 rout of Northern Colorado last Saturday. Golden Eagles now move on to their 31st NCAA Regional and meet the Sooners. Tulsa Drillers are back at One Oak Field this week after finishing off a 6-game stand at Texas League leading Springfield. Drillers opened a 6-game series with Northwest Arkansas, special Monday Memorial Day game. The series will run through this Sunday, June the 2nd. Tulsa's indoor professional football league team, the Oilers, played its final of 3 straight road games, finishing the month of May with a tough 23-22 loss to the Massachusetts Pirates in Lowell, Mass. Saturday night. Oilers' drive for a possible game-winning field goal ended with a pass interception. Tulsa back home this Saturday, June the 1st, at the BOK, hosting the San Diego Strike Force. 7:05 kickoff at the BOK, and the first 1,000 fans get a free Oilers t-shirts. The doors open at 5:30. For a second straight match, FC Tulsa was shut out, losing 1-0 to the Oakland Roots SC at One Oak Field Friday, May 24th. FC Tulsa dominated, out-shooting Oakland 17-8, but never could find the back of the net. The team now travels east to Leesburg, Virginia. They'll meet Loudoun United FC this Saturday, June the 1st. Straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene, the voice of the Thunder, Matt Pinto, talking all things Oklahoma City Thunder. Get ready.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The 2024 Remington Park Spring Quarter Horse season continues at Remington Park. The top horses in quarter horse racing are featured on Champions Night at Remington Park. Saturday, June 1st, is also the final night of the spring season with 7 Grade 1 stakes events led by the $1 Million Heritage Place Futurity. Thursday through Sunday, first race at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. Champions Night racing on June 1st will begin at 5 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and jackpot casino action is all at Remington Park.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
The Oklahoma City Thunder's 23-24 basketball season was an overwhelming success. The team winning 57 games, becoming the youngest team to ever win the Western Conference title and win a first-round playoff game, sweeping the New Orleans Pelicans. Matt Pinto, the longtime play-by-play man, is our guest on Oklahoma Sportscene, talking all things Thunder. But first, Matt, talk about your long broadcasting career with lots of NBA teams.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really blessed, honestly, Chris. 34 years, which is hard for me to. I have to pinch myself when I think along those lines. But this season, just going through the various experiences and games that I've called over the years, 3,000th rather broadcast during the season, which the team was so gracious to actually acknowledge, which was a really fun milestone moment for me. But I am, incredibly grateful to the organization to have been in the league this long, and it's just been an incredible journey.
Yeah, you were part of the package deal, and Clay Bennett bought the Seattle Supersonics and moved them to Oklahoma City. You came with him.
Yeah, I did. So I'm one of the originals here. There are a handful of us, and I think we all share kind of a kinship and connectivity. But to see what's happened, the magic that's gone on since this team moved to OKC has been pretty phenomenal in the years that have followed. A number of different iterations, highly driven organization that's had massive successes over the years, and a very quick pivot and reboot to what's going on with the current iteration of OKC Thunder players, and a deep playoff run this season as the youngest team to ever accomplish what they did: win a division, to be a 1 seed in a conference, and actually win a playoff series.
Matt, this team exceeded so many expectations preseason-wise, and most of them don't think win 40 games. Did this team surprise you?
Yeah, I think that the way things came together as quickly as they did, this team really from the start of the season, they won, I want to say by 20 plus on opening night in Chicago on the road. I think, let it be known, and obviously different circumstances filter into blowout wins, but I think this team was ready to go coming out of training camp. Chet Holmgren did a great job during the summer of working with his teammates off of the injury that he suffered a season ago that denied him his pure rookie season after being drafted second overall 2 years back. I think that was significant. The fact that there was continuity in the core of what this team was with Mark Daigneault over the last couple of years made a big difference. And they hit the ground running. They're a serious group of young players that have fun together, but they really take what they do to heart. They play for each other. They're really unselfish in the way that they approach things, and highly skilled team, really, really talented team, top to bottom on the roster, really well constructed by Sam Presti.
You look at the past just 5 seasons. with this team. Matt, 19 and 20, they were a 44-28 team that lost the first round of the playoffs to the Rockets. 2021, all of a sudden now we're 22 and 50, then 24 and 58, then 40-42 before this turnaround season. A lot of patience by the Thunder fans, and obviously Sam Presti knew how to build a basketball team.
Yeah, and he said back when they made this pivot and stepped away from the Chris Paul season, recognizing that what he had in mind was not sustainable with that group of guys. He needed to go with more of a youth movement, given this market size, utilizing the draft, collecting assets along those lines. He was very transparent what he said, Chris, and that was that our objective here, our vision is to build sustainable, long-term, high-level success. And that's what we're committed to. So how long that takes, how that will look, I don't have the answer, but just know that that's what our objective is. And so along the way, they've done what they've had to do. They had the 2 seasons where they didn't get to 25 wins. Those were building blocks to construct what we now see the foundation of in Oklahoma City.
Some of the key moments of the season, looking back after a win over the Rockets on February 27th, Thunder improved to 40-42, improved better than their 40-42 record the previous year. Then a win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Thunder reached 50 wins for the first time since 2016. 2024 clinched their first playoff berth since 2020. I think it's a win against the New York Knicks, and eventually clinched the first division title since 2016, along the top seed in the Western Conference. Quite a building block.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could have envisioned a top seed, given how deep the West was, the quality of depth, really top at that top rung that entailed Minnesota and Denver and OKC to the wire, to the final day of the season, down through the final play-in spot. I mean, this was a highly competitive Western Conference throughout the course of this season, and this team found a way to endure, be consistent, and bring it night to night. There were not the consistent long tailspins that young teams tend to go through. Their longest losing streak was 3 games. That came late in the season without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or J-Dub. So this team found the ability to stay the course and really be about that day-to-day 0-0 mentality that Mark Daigneault talks about all the time.
First time they got the top seed in the Western Conference is 2013. Youngest team, number 1 seed since the season began back in 1984, an average age of 2 years younger than the previous record holder, the Phoenix Suns. Amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, and I think this team never allowed age to be any sort of internal detriment. They recognized that they had something special they were building. They played for each other, as I mentioned. There's a system in place that the personnel on this team really suits and fits well. Multiple playmakers, a lot of diversity and ability to play 5-out basketball with Chet Holmgren being that 5th out, picking and popping, an outstanding 3-point shooter during the regular season. And I think they gave teams fits when they had the ball, as good defensively, the way they disrupted opposing teams. So this team played both ends at a really high level, along with Boston, the only 2 teams that were top 5, both in offensive and defensive efficiency and net rating. They were second to the Celtics. So in terms of regular season, this team, I think, proved its mettle over the course of 82 games without question.
Matt Pinto, the longtime voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, their radio voice, play-by-play guy. And Matt, let's go to the playoffs now and the sweep of the New Orleans team down there in New Orleans, 4 straight.
Yeah, and I think what they did in that series, Chris, is they really let the league know they meant business defensively, because they came in and really corralled Brandon Ingram, who, when he's on his game, is as tough a cover as there is in basketball, shoots over the top of guys, very good mid-range player, has added the 3-point shot. When he is in his groove, is also going to get the foul line a ton. Lou Dort and the team scheme by the Thunder completely kept him under wraps the entire series. CJ McCollum, in fact, said after game 2, a 32-point loss to the Thunder in Oklahoma City, they have a togetherness that we need to adopt. Like, we're not as connected and playing for each other the way that they are. And the Thunder wound up sweeping that series 4 victories to none, because their consistency defensively was amazing. They allowed no more than 96 points in any of those 4 games, which is historic in and of itself. And on the offensive side of the ball, Josh Giddey really was able to find traction in the matchup that he had against the Pelicans. That served to help this team vault into the Western Conference semifinals.
Now, he also set another mark there, advanced to the semifinals, making the youngest team ever to advance to the semifinals, surpassing the 2010-11 Thunder. However, then the Dallas Mavericks, and I guess we're seeing now how good the Mavericks are, but a tough 6-game series, and Thunder had all kinds of opportunities to win that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people read way too much into game one. Game one, the Thunder dominated. They did a great job establishing the defensive tone against Dallas from the outset of that series, won by 22. Game two was very different. The Mavericks, to their credit, given the veterans on their roster, given the way that they have a coaching staff that gets what the playoffs are about, brought changes. They altered some of their coverages defensively and won that second game relatively decisively by 9. That set them into a position where they had home court. The Thunder recaptured that home court advantage by winning game 4 in Dallas pretty miraculously, recovering from a double-digit deficit to win it by 4. And then it becomes a best-of-3 series. The Thunder didn't play as well in game 5 as they had at any point in the playoffs. So now they're going back to Dallas, down 3-2, seem to have game 6 in hand, up 16 at halftime, led by 17 in the third quarter. Even late, Chris, to go on top the way they did, recovering from the slide they had for that quarter and a half, with 20 seconds to play, needing a stop to force a game 7. I felt really good calling that sequence, and unfortunately, it didn't go their way with that foul call in the corner involving a P.J. Washington three-point attempt by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Mavericks, to their credit, were the better team over the 6 games. I wouldn't say they're the more talented team. I wouldn't say that in the long haul of the season that I would go that direction. But in the throes of this playoff series, they were the better team, and they earned the right to get to the Western Finals.
We're going right back with Matt Pinto. Second part, we'll take a look at some of the individuals on this incredible Thunder team that had such a great season and look into the future of the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's next with Matt Pinto.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Are you ready for some hard-hitting indoor football action with the Tulsa Oilers? Saturday night, June 1st, 7:05 at the BOK Center is Military Night. Let's rally behind the team as they take on the San Diego Strike Force. The first 1,000 fans get a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. That's right, a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. Don't miss the action. Tickets are on sale now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of Tulsa Oilers indoor football.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
With Matt Pinto, the longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the veterans of NBA basketball. Matt, what a great season. We had some great individuals, and of course, number one, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. In fact, just named the first team All-NBA.
Yeah, unanimous first team for a second straight year, which tells you what the league, perceives he is and the consistency that he's brought. This season, Chris, I think that it's very subjective always how the MVP balloting comes down, but Shai did something only Jordan and Steph Curry had done. And in the seasons those guys did it, they were the most valuable players in the NBA, averaging more than 30 points a game, knocking down at least 50% of their shots from the field, and more than 2 steals collected on the defensive end. He led the league in steals, and yet he fell a bit short to Nikola Jokic of Denver for the overall MVP, but was the runner-up. I think he showed incredible progress in terms of his own leadership, the consistency he brings, the way he continues to ratchet up his efficiency on the defensive end of the floor is stellar. And this team is excited about what he'll bring moving forward. He's not at peak yet, and it's exciting to see him continue to grow into what peak form will look like in the NBA, but really a throwback player in that he'll shoot the three occasionally, shot it at a higher level this season, but he's a mid-range master. And those guys against defenses, the way they're constructed today, are incredible assets to have on a roster. And he proved himself through the course of the playoffs. Even in the loss to Dallas, he was the best player in that series, a series that involved Luka and Kyrie Irving.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, native of Canada, played one season in Kentucky. And how did the Thunder end up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Well, he came over, and it wasn't a throw-in by any stretch, but he was the primary player they got when they traded Paul George to the LA Clippers. After one season in the league with the Clippers, Shai was a primary part of that package with Danilo Gallinari, the multiple first-round picks, and now Shai has blossomed into a guy that many deem a superstar on this level, just an unstoppable offensive force and one that's so disruptive on the defensive end.
SGA appeared in 75 of the Thunder's 82 games. The stats are incredible. Averaged 30.1 points a game, 6.2 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 2 steals in 34 minutes of play. Shot 53.5% from the field, and ranked third in NBA scoring and second in steals. What a performance!
Yeah, and again, it was the consistency. He missed very few games. When they needed a stop, he'd come away with one. He was third among guards in block shots. So a lot of fans gravitate to steals and blocks, but I think the way he used his length to impose the ability for this team to be disruptive at the level that they were, teaming with Lou Dort, teaming with Cason Wallace when he was on the court, J-Dub, who was an extraordinary defender this season. This team was really difficult to crack on the defensive end because Chet Holmgren provided that last line of defense, great rim protection as well.
SGA mentioned as the second consecutive first-team NBA All-NBA player, becoming the third player in team history to do so, joining Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. With this selection, I thought it was interesting too, Matt. Oklahoma City now has a total of 19 All-NBA selections, 10 first-team All-NBA selections, both of which led the NBA since 2008-2009. So a lot about Sam Presti and the talent he's put together.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 6 absolute Hall of Famers that have played for the Thunder through the years. Shai certainly is trending that way. Who knows what Chet Holmgren and J-Dub are going to become. But, yeah, he's got an incredible knack. He knows what he's looking for when he scouts talent. He will eliminate players based on them not suiting the different skill set, the different mindset that he's looking for to bring into Oklahoma City. And it certainly served this organization and this community extraordinarily well over the years.
As he wrapped up this season, Chet Holmgren and Cason Wallace also received all-rookie team honors. And talk about those 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what he did to revolutionize this team offensively, and I mean that word, was off the charts. This team jumped from a season ago being a good offensive team to being a truly elite one, because what he did is he forced opposing defenses to pick poison. If they're going to stay with a bigger player, a more girthy player to attack the glass, they've got to pay the price by having a smaller guy on him. When he picked and popped, became a legit three-point threat, very good playmaker, had the ability to go to the post and make things happen. And this team really melded and meshed well with his skill set. I thought Mark Daigneault did an exceptional job of making certain that happened. And this team averaged more than 120 points a game, was third in scoring, was third in overall offensive efficiency, led the league in three-point accuracy. So during the regular season, they were a terror when they had the ball.
And his rookie campaign, this was his rookie campaign, after sitting out all his first season as a #1 draft pick, he played in all 82 games. That was quite a surprise.
Yeah, and I think that was a commitment he had internally. He never verbalized it, but he found a way to play through the discomfort that goes on in the throes of an 82-game season, the 5 games in 7 nights, the 4 games in 5 nights. Sometimes the schedule serves up. They had a hellacious month of January, but he didn't miss a beat. He helped his team win 11 of 17 games in the month of January, which was primarily played on the road. Just the ultimate professional, and to me, the ultimate winner. He makes the small plays that sway the scoreboard on both sides of the ball. And his teammates talked about how fearless he was, protecting the rim, altering shots through the course of the season. Also had the ability to step out on the court and switch and become very durable and flexible to provide different aspects to the Thunder defense, depending on coverages that they decided to go with to throw opposing teams off.
Holmgren was a 23-24 stats, 16.5 points a game, 53% shooting from the field, along with 7.9 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 2.32 blocks. The only rookie in Thunder history to record 1,000-plus points and 500-plus rebounds, and he made history of becoming one of only 2 NBA players to have at least 150 blocks, 150 assists, and 100 made three-point field goals. It's quite a resume.
Yeah, and that other guy was Victor Wembanyama, who won Rookie of the Year this season. But I get that Victor is going to be a generational talent. I'm taking nothing away from that for him long term. But if you're voting on an award that's team geared, 57 wins, the number 1 seed, Chet's impact on that for the Thunder, to me, Chet should have been Rookie of the Year in the NBA this season.
Wallace compared to 82 games, the Thunder 13 starts, averaged 6.8 points, 2.3 rebounds, and fifth among all rookies, 3-point line. In fact, early on in the season, he was really hitting 3 points.
Yeah, he was exceptional this season. I mean, the durability he brought, he was 19 the majority of the season, didn't turn 20 until the tail end of the regular season, into the playoffs. A fearless approach, a guy that has an incredible knack for what he does off the ball defensively, became better on the ball, would take on any assignment Mark Daigneault threw at him. Mark's trust in him, his teammates' trust in him built as the season went on. This guy's a special talent and is going to be an exceptional, I think, player long-term for OKC.
And Wallace mentioned that first 25 games at 50% from the field, came out of the third player. It's in NBA history to connect on 50% from that distance in his first 25 games.
Yeah, I think that he brought an NBA-ready game. Although he was only 19 when the season started, there was a physical maturity about the way he approached things, very willing to take coaching, a sponge that way, but also had a confidence, a quiet confidence. When he was open and his feet were set, opposing teams paid the price. And that was an element I'm not sure the Thunder knew would be there from the outset at the level it was, but that was certainly a pleasant surprise.
Matt Pinto, the veteran play-by-play man for the Oklahoma City Thunder, their voice in all 82 games this season. He keeps rolling along here. Matt, let's talk about what else does this team need? What do they need to take the next step?
That's going to be an assessment that Sam Presti and the basketball operations staff make. But I think when you look at the growth they showed, 57 wins, right there with Denver and Minnesota battling for that top seed. They ultimately wound up getting it as the Nuggets surprisingly lost to San Antonio late in the season, opening the door for the Thunder to accomplish that. I think that the growth that goes on internally is going to be a significant part of what this team is committed to. They have the 12th overall pick in the upcoming NBA draft. They'll have some cap space. They have a lot of draft assets. So I think Sam, will do the tireless, meticulous job he always does in scouring the market, taking a look at where might there be opportunities that present themselves that would benefit this team now and in the future. But to get specific about needs, I think a lot of people talk about rebounding. Chris, I think this team recognized there are trade-offs. When you play on the smaller side and you bring the versatility the Thunder did, they trumped whatever the issues were on the glass when they surfaced at a level that had them the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So I think allowing this team to continue to kind of breathe and grow together is going to be significant in their big picture development.
I know the big national people all have talked about what the Thunder need. They build more physicality, they need more physical team, and rebounding. They're out rebounding that Dallas series 47-31.
Yeah, and I think that's the natural place to go. I think, when we look at the strengths of this Thunder team, again, they led the league in three-point accuracy because they spaced the floor. They forced opposing defenses to scramble around, which put them in position to generate more than 120 points a game. So, again, that's a pay grade well above mine. Sam Presti, I know, is going to be all over that. They went into this season, Chris, really feeling as if whatever needs might surface would reveal themselves as the season unfolded. So they'll get to work and do their best to maximize the assets that they have to plug whatever holes they might see. But again, I think the biggest part of it's going to be this team continuing to mature together, to grow together, because the way this roster is built, it's deep. It has exceptional skill in various areas that give opposing teams fits.
And finally, Matt, a tip to the fans, your impression of the home court advantage the Thunder had, how the fans responded to them, and I've never seen so many T-shirts handed out.
Well, I mean, and this run for the Thunder in the playoffs saw them hand out their 1 millionth T-shirt in terms of their playoff pass. So that was kind of a fun milestone moment. But no, I mean, the home court advantage, there's none like it in all of the NBA come playoff time. The Thunder felt that. It certainly showed itself in a big way. It was fun to see that environment back. But during the course of the season, this team was dominant at home, won 33 games at home, which sets them into elite status as well. And the sixth man is a big part of that. Loud City, as loud as ever in this playoff run for this team. So, Matt, do you finally take a breath? What is your off season like? It's a lot of family time. My son's in high school and plays high school baseball. So there are a lot of travel trips with him around the area, which I'll maximize, and just really reacquainting myself with family and getting back into some normalcy given the length of the season. But what a season it was, incredibly memorable, and a lot of excitement for what might be ahead.
And again, record setting for Matt Pinto. How many games NBA have you called now, Matt?
Well, it was 3,000 back in March, so whatever that number translates to now, who's counting?
Congratulations. Enjoy the time down, and we're looking forward already to 24-25 City Thunder. We're going to come right back to preview a big cycling event. St. Francis Tulsa Toughs coming up this week.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
It is the 18th St. Francis Tulsa Tough, 3-day cycling race event that has become not only nationally prominent, but internationally as well. The guy who makes it all happen, the founder, executive director here, always good to welcome back Malcolm McCollam. Malcolm, are you ready to go racing?
We've got just under 2 weeks to go, and it's an amazing process. Always having to put out a little fires before the event, but we're going to be ready come Friday, June 7th.
June 7th through Sunday the 9th, and all kinds of competition, all levels, amateurism, the top professionals. Talk about, again, a record number of bikers that come in to ride in the race, right?
We just wrapped up a great year last year with 48 states represented, 6 countries.
Wow.
I think we're going to add another country this year. Last year in our professional men's races, we had a full squad that came over from Germany, including the German national champion. Get a little taste of American bike racing, and they found out how good these boys over here in the States really are.
Yeah.
They didn't win any races. They did quite well.
Yeah.
This year we have another squad the Germans are back.
Yep.
And we have a full squad coming from the UK that are going to give the Brits a chance to see what they can do here in Tulsa.
St. Francis Health Systems has really been, from the very beginning, a great sponsor, great supporter.
Yes, they have. You know, I mean, they're a community health system. That system was founded in 1954, 3 generations ago. Amazing partner with us. They've been with us since the very beginning, and they're all in.
All right, let's talk about the schedule for the weekend coming up. It all gets underway Friday, and wraps up Sunday with a big award ceremony downtown.
You bet. You know, we change venues every day, Chris.
Right, yeah.
So we start Friday in the Blue Dome District, teeing off at 5 o'clock in the evening with the amateur races, building up to the professional races. Friday night under the lights. Everything moves over to the Tulsa Arts District for the FC Tulsa Criterium after the McNally's Criterium in Blue Dome. And then Sunday, all the racing action moves down to Riverside Drive with the McElroy Riverside Drive Criterium. So River Park's Criterium, just an amazing set.
Got to talk about Crybaby Hill. That's always one of the big signature moments for this race.
You know, there was a media outlet that recently came out with its own version of the top 7 most famous criteriums in America.
Right.
They call them the monuments. It's kind of like in the golf world, you know, how you have the majors, and in tennis, the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And they said if we were to have, you know, a Grand Slam or a criterium bike race in the monuments, what would be the top 7? So they picked 7 races in America. All of them were around 40 years old. They'd been around a long time. Very storied history. There was one race that was only 18 years old, and that was the Crybaby Hill Stage in Tulsa. And we were really proud to be named with such esteemed colleagues of ours.
Now, can the amateurs still sign up and find some racing? I'm sure the pros are already set, but...
Absolutely. You can go to TulsaTough.com, and the full schedule and registration is always there.
And of course, it all winds up on a Sunday. Where's your award ceremony going to be? It's always a highlight of the events.
Such a fun time right out beside the Drunkard Theater. You remember that? Down there on Riverside Drive.
Yeah.
The final award ceremony will be down there. We'll be awarding some custom-made watches to the men's, women, and the men and the women pros.
Right.
Custom watches by Chronosport, local company. Very excited to debut that.
Yeah.
It's going to be super cool.
Is there prize money involved for the professionals, I assume?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The entire weekend has a prize list of over $100,000.
Wow. You've got to be so proud of how this event has grown. Why has it become so popular with so many spectators? And where should spectators go to see the best racing?
You know, the maps are on our website.
Yeah.
The great thing about this is it's free and open to the public, a lot of places to watch. And so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. One of the reasons why it's become so popular. I think one of the reasons that the St. Francis Tulsa Tough has become what it is not just the racing element, which gets a lot of publicity and a lot of press, and rightfully so, because we really are, in the eyes of many, the Super Bowl of criterium racing, or Super Bowl of bike racing in America. But I think really more importantly, perhaps, is the public participation in our fondos. We have such great rides that are open to the public. We'll get about 2,000 people. We have such family-friendly activities. For example, this year we have a brand new event. It's called the Brainerd Family Festival that's going to take place 2 o'clock at the FC Tulsa Arts District Criterium down there on Guthrie Green. The first 300 children will get a free T-shirt. We're going to have face painting down there. They're going to get to decorate their T-shirt. A whole bag of gifts and goodies. And then, you know, Sunday we have a tandem event called the Williams Townie. It's also a free and open to the public event, 5 miles long, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Bring the family down there and the kids. And I think these are the kinds of things that have helped us become such a great community event.
Give us the website once again where you can go to get all the information, all the schedule, all the distances, and where to go watch all this.
Everything you need to know about St. Francis Tulsa Tough at TulsaTough.com.
And coming on June 7th to the 9th, Malcolm McCollam, thank you so much. Again, thank our folks at St. Francis for their great support. Again, St. Francis Tulsa Tough, June 7th to the 9th. Go to the website, get all the information. We're going back with a Hall of Fame trainer, talking about another Hall of Fame trainer, Bob Baffert, on Preakness winner Dwayne Lukas. That's straight ahead.
The 2024 Remington Park Spring Quarter Horse season continues at Remington Park. The top horses in quarter horse racing are featured on Champions Night at Remington Park. Saturday, June 1st, is also the final night of the spring season with 7 Grade 1 stakes events led by the $1 Million Heritage Place Futurity. Thursday through Sunday, first race at 6 p.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. Champions Night racing on June 1st will begin at 5 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and jackpot casino action is all at Remington Park.
Are you ready for some hard-hitting indoor football action with the Tulsa Oilers? Saturday night, June 1st, 7:05 at the BOK Center is Military Night. Let's rally behind the team as they take on the San Diego Strike Force. The first 1,000 fans get a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. That's right, a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. Don't miss the action. Tickets are on sale now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of Tulsa Oilers indoor football.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
And swinging to the outside, sees the gray, is still there. Mystic Dan bearing down on the outside, sees the gray, won't go away. Mystic Dan catching freedom, moving down the center of the track, but Wayne Lukas has done it. Sees the gray, wins the Preakness. Oh my! It was a photo behind him, Mystic Dan and catching freedom. The 88-year-old legend Wayne Lukas has done it.
History made in the Triple Crown Preakness Stakes a couple weeks ago when D. Wayne Lukas, at age 88, became the oldest trainer ever to win a Triple Crown event. I've known D. Wayne since he started covering quarter horse and thoroughbred racing back in the 1980s. Another close friend of his, Bob Baffert, the Hall of Fame trainer, had similar paths. And of course, he has a lot of respect for the man D. Wayne Lukas. Here's Bob Baffert.
You know, one thing about Wayne, you know, I was with him at the Preakness and talking to him. You would think he was still in his 40s. He age doesn't matter to him. Gets on his pony every morning, gets out there. He loves what he does, and he still has a sharp eye for a horse, and his mind is just terrific. I mean, he's, you know, I've always said that since I've gotten the business, since the quarter horse business, my quarter horse days, he was always the bar of racing, of quarter horse racing and thoroughbred racing, and he just keeps bringing it. He has no quit in him at all.
You know, but I couldn't help but notice kind of the parallel of you two guys. D. Wayne Lukas went to the University of Wisconsin, got a master's in education. I was a basketball coach before he got into quarter horse racing. You, of course, at the University of Arizona, the racetrack program there, got your degree, and then got into the quarter horse track as well. So what led you into the quarter horse business first?
Well, I was actually, it was a passion of my father's. We were born on a ranch, Nogales, Arizona, which is on the border right outside Tucson. And for some reason, he decided that he wanted to race quarter horses. And we had a couple mares that he bred to the local stallions in Patagonia, Arizona, where there was some really nice quarter horses in those days. And so he hired a trainer, and we had a couple horses. And when I was 14, my father decided maybe he should do it himself. So he cut out a little track at our ranch, a little straightaway. And I would, before I go to school, I'd get on my horse and go exercise in the mornings and go to school and come back. And we'd go racing on the weekends. And my father was a trainer, you know, like didn't do it professionally. He would just do it. It was a sport for us. And that's how I got involved.
Well, I know you moved to California, 1980s, to train quarter horses, and then you made the jump to the thoroughbreds full-time, 1991. It was interesting. I noticed some of this. People talked about your early reputation with less expensive horses, but pretty good ones like Silver Charm and Real Quiet, Kentucky Derby winners. But D. Wayne Lukas that time said Baffert's success, and here's a quote from Wayne, his extraordinary eye for a good horse and his management ability in finding the right opportunities for his chargers. He's the next great trainer.
Well, I mean, Wayne is always, you know, the first time I ever saw Wayne Lukas, I'd heard a lot about him. I was in Sonoyta, Arizona. I was, I think, a senior in high school. It might have been 1971. And he shows up into Sonoyta, Arizona, this fancy, shiny trailers, chromed out, you know. And we had these fraternity trials. And he shows up with all these fancy bred horses and wins all the races. And when I saw him, I thought, and this is a little dusty track. This is where I got started, out in the middle of nowhere. And he was just, I always said, I want to be that guy. If I ever was a trainer, I want to be that guy. And so he's always been, I've always looked up to Wayne. And to this day, I still, you know, consider him, you know, he's an icon of the sport, but he's a great horseman. And it sometimes it gets lost in translation because he not only was a great horseman, but a great businessman, the way he started. He's the first one that started having numerous stables all across the country. He started that. He started the flying here and there and shipping to all these stakes. So, I mean, he revolutionized quarter horse racing and thoroughbred racing. And the thing about Wayne, he elevates every space he occupies. And I've always told him, the reason you've been so successful at this business, and I told him recently at Preakness, you are so overqualified to be a horse trainer. Okay, that's why it comes easy for him, because he could have been. I mean, if you go to his barns, he could have been a great landscaper. I mean, look at his barns. One of his assistants worked for me, and they at Los Alamitos. He takes care of the second string. I keep 50 horses at Santa Anita and 50 horses at Los Alamitos. I really don't have that big of a string, and but somebody asked me, which barn, what number are you at? You'll know. Just walk in there when you see Wayne Lukas style kind of barn. That's me, and that's him. He really instilled that in all his assistants. He made them great. They became great trainers.
Well, Wayne was the first thoroughbred trainer to reach $100 million in purses. He has led the money-winning list 14 times, has 15 Triple Crown race winners, 4 in the Derby, 4 in the Belmont, and 7 in the Preakness with this one just recently. And then he's won a record 20 Breeders' Cup races, 4-time Eclipse winner, the Sports Top trainer, Hall of Famer 1999, then the Quarter Horse Hall of Fame 2007. And his work ethic is legendary. It's just amazing.
Yeah, to this day. I mean, well, first of all, like I tell him, and the reason he loves horse racing. He wakes up at 3:30 every morning and goes to the barn, and his horsemanship is just by far just incredible. We'll be at a sale, and he'll buy a horse, and I was looking at a horse. I remember at the last sale, and I really liked this horse, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. And then I always go to see who bought the horse, and Wayne bought it. And I'll go see him. I go, darn, I would love that horse. And he goes, God, it makes me feel better, like we both were on the same horse. But he's got a great eye for, and he has great horsemanship. And it used to be where, well, the only reason he had all this, because he had all this money behind him. But hey, we all start with one horse, okay? Yeah. And he started on the bush tracks, like I started on the bush tracks, and he just moved his way up. But he notices everything. His mind is really sharp, Chris. I mean, he notices everything. We were sitting there talking, and we knew which horses we didn't have to worry about in the Preakness. He watches them walk around there. He still has it. I remember when I went there with Justify, and he was waiting for me there, and he's saying, hey, you know what? I think I wouldn't worry about that horse or this. And all of a sudden, I said, wait till you see Justify. And Justify comes off, and I lead him up to him. He said, what do you think, Wayne? And it was like, I said, you're going to need a bigger boat, aren't you? And he says, yeah, I'm going to need a bigger boat. We kid around like that, but it was great. I mean, for him to win that race the other day, and he did it. His horse looked fantastic, and he had carrying good flesh, and he still knows how to train him. And for him to win it was just, and he won it, he beat me at my own game. He put him on the lead, and he went around there and got the job done. And he's not afraid to run a horse. If the horse is doing well, run the horse. And that's one thing. A lot of trainers, they don't do that anymore. They like to just sort of pick and choose and wait and give them a month or two. But, it's changed, and he comes from the old school of, if they're doing well, run them.
Well, Bob, you're setting the standard right now that Wayne Lukas set. And imagine now Wayne's going to turn 89 September 2nd. Still riding out in the morning. Has to get a little step stool to get up on the horse, but he's still out in the morning. Do you think we'll see Bob Baffert on a horse at 89 years old on the backside of the racetrack?
Well, all I can say is the respect that I have for Wayne, and it's like, I'm just honored to be his friend. And I told him nobody is going to break that 80 9-year-old record that he has. I'm not even going to try to get close to that. He God had broke the mold when he was born. I mean, Wayne, there will never be another Wayne Lukas. I mean, what he has accomplished in his life. I've known him from the quarter horse days. He just dominated the quarter horse world, as you remember when you were in it.
Yeah.
And then he went to the thoroughbred and just dominated within a few years. I mean, I just, he's cut from a different cloth, and I'm just to be his friend. I'm honored just to be his friend. And he's really, he's been a good friend to me, and always when things went, haywire for me, he was always there to, lift me up, and we talk all the time, and he's a good man.
Well, Bobby, so are you, and I tell you, good to have a good friend like you, and so proud of what you've accomplished from our days together on the backside of Los Alamitos. You've come a long way, my friend. Wish you all the best.
Well, thank you, Chris, and thanks for having me, and it's nice talking to you again.
All right, buddy, we're going to come right back with our Remington Race Report, quarter horse racing from Oklahoma City, after we take the break.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
Are you ready for some hard-hitting indoor football action with the Tulsa Oilers? Saturday night, June 1st, 7:05 at the BOK Center is Military Night. Let's rally behind the team as they take on the San Diego Strike Force. The first 1,000 fans get a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. That's right, a Tulsa Oilers t-shirt. Don't miss the action. Tickets are on sale now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of Tulsa Oilers indoor football.
The Champions Night card of huge stakes racing at Remington Park takes place on Saturday, June 1st. But before that, we had some top Oklahoma breds in action. Here are the stakes highlights from May 25th. Oklahoma bred 3-year-olds had the spotlight in the Jack Brooks Stakes, named after the all-time great trainer who won 8 All-American Futurities, a field of 8, going to the gate. They're off in the Jack Brooks Stakes. Bit of a slow start for Cam's Relentless out sharply coming on. That is Cowboys Are Our Heroes, Midnight Politics, Bobby's backside Bobby's right there. Now kicking in. Here comes RJ having fun. RJ having fun just like that. Out on top by 2 and rolling on. RJ having fun. Sharp and the Jack Brooks. Easiest of winners, RJ having fun. The winner of the Remington Park Derby back in late April came back and stayed against Oklahoma breds for the Jack Brooks and easily rolled from the outside. Owned and trained by Toby Keaton of Selma, Texas, Juan Polito was up for the winning score. RJ having fun wraps up the Remington Park season with 2 consecutive wins, both in Stakes Company, the Remington Park Derby, and on May 25th, the Jack Brooks Stakes. The Boyd Morris Memorial was also featured on May 25th, this one at 400 yards for older Oklahoma breds, named after the great former jockey who won the All-American Futurity in 1964 aboard Dequetta, who also went on to become a very prominent trainer throughout the first 25 years or so in Remington Park history. They're off at the Boyd Morris Memorial. Bobbling start for 2-4 going hot from the rail to Forge right there. Here comes San Lorenzo Ivory outside trying to get it rolling. Peeves Charlie and Relentless Okie from the middle trying to get some run on. 2-4 going hot. Far outside in the pink rolling now. Here's Peeves Charlie drifting out but pulling away. Another victory on the outside. Peeves Charlie invades from New Mexico. Has not started since late March at Sunland Park and didn't miss a beat, rolling to victory in the Boyd Morris Memorial. An easy score under jockey Christian Escada. Alfredo Perez, the winning owner. Gerardo Quinones, the winning trader. Boyd Morris to Peeves Charlie. Other victories on May 25th for Oklahoma breds. The FL Ladybug Stakes went to number 9, Annabelle. And in the finale on May 25th, the Easy Jet went to I'm a Fancy Eye Opener. The final racing week of the season is now here at Remington Park. Action takes place Thursday and Friday, May 30th and 31st at 6 p.m. Then Champions Night on Saturday, June 1st, starting at 5 p.m., featuring the richest race in Oklahoma, the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
So what's next as we move to June in Oklahoma Sports Scene? We'll tell you right after the break.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Be sure to join us next week here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We'll wrap up the quarter horse season at Remington Park. Dale Day talk about their big Champions Night. And of course, a lot of baseball going on right now. The regionals for the baseball, college baseball, heading to the World Series. Taking place this week, Ryan Fulmer, Oral Roberts University's head baseball coach. Some of the tournament champions taking on the Oklahoma Sooners this week. Talk about that with Ryan. Also, softball, women's softball moved to the World Series in Oklahoma City. Both OU and OSU taking part in that. A couple of special surprises as well next week's show. Join us then until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.